Yeah, that game was an absolute disaster for the Packers, but it was only week one, and we got 60 more weeks to go.
Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now, the Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now, the Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now, the Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, about now, about now, about now.
What's popping, y'all? It's your man Club Boy Bells, and welcome to another episode of Wisco Sports. Last week I went 10-6, which I'd say is pretty solid, given that a lot of the games were upsets, and I honestly didn't really expect what to happen, but yeah, it's interesting to see what is going to happen, because honestly, I don't know. But yeah, we got a lot of good games coming up. It's going to be a very interesting week. But of course, a lot of games that we got to cover. Going 10-6, I'd say is a pretty good standard. I was right. I said the Raiders were going to upset the Ravens. I said that, and I knew it was going to happen, and they did. That was an unbelievable game, by the way. But yeah, lots of games to go over. It's crazy how things work, but it's going to be interesting. So anyways, we got a long show to get to, so let's get to it. Alright, so starting things off tonight, we have the New Jersey Giants. Yes, they obviously have that title because of how poorly they played last week, versus the team that still has no name, the Washington Football Team, on Thursday Night Football. So Washington, they lost Ryan Fitzpatrick, possibly to the year, but it's probably going to be a long time until he comes back, which is kind of unfortunate. However, they do get to see Taylor Heineke, who really did look good in that one game he started in playoffs, and it's unfortunate they fell to Tampa Bay, but when Heineke got his start, he looked really good, and it's really interesting to see what he's going to do. So far in Daniel Jones's career, he's 4-0 against Washington, but at the point, as what I'm thinking of, Washington was just a terrible team in 2019, so the Giants easily beat them both times. And then the next year, the Washington started the year out bad, but then they started actually doing way better when things kind of started going their way, but they started off playing the Giants more at the beginning of the year before Alex Smith took over and actually led Washington to the playoffs. So it was just kind of like, okay, so I think Washington has the better defense, and after what I saw last week, Daniel Jones just could not do anything. I thought the Giants' offense was supposed to be super good, but Denver just did everything they could to slow him down, and that's why Denver won. So with that being said, I think the same thing is probably going to happen tonight, and I'm going to take Washington winning this game because I think defense wins you games. That's just my catchphrase. That's just how it works. Going on to Sunday, we have, I can't believe I'm get to say this, but the Cincinnati Bengals. Yes, I'm actually calling them the Bengals because they won a game. They beat the Vikings. Who would have ever thought that? Taking on the Chicago Bears. Chicago got their booties handed to them by the Los Angeles Rams. Rams, I think, are now a big contender. They look good. They look really good. And they're gonna be a very tough team to beat. With that being said, Cincinnati was shockingly, their offensive line is still trash. It's not going to change. I mean, they should have drafted offensive linemen, but they didn't. Jamar Chase actually didn't drop the ball. That's a good plus. Chicago, on the other hand, Andy Dalton looked like absolute trash. Right now, Justin Fields is going to be basically a guy that can be on the field. They'll probably put him in at Wildcat a lot of times. I don't know why Chicago's not starting him yet. I don't get it. I really don't. But this game, it's at home, and I don't really see this one being a L. Cincinnati should not win this game. They really should have beat Minnesota a long time ago, but Cincinnati's coaching just is beyond awful, and that game should have never went to overtime. So Cincinnati was just lucky enough to win, and I don't really see them doing that damage against Chicago. I think it will be a close, low-scoring game only because Chicago's offense has not really done much yet. The running game is good, but I'm not sure what will happen. So anyways, I'm just going to pick Chicago because they should win this game. I don't know. I'm sorry, Bengals. You're going to have to go back to the Bungles. Houston at Cleveland is the next game. Houston surprisingly destroyed Jacksonville. That really shocked me. Cleveland has not won the first game of the regular season in 16 years. Yeah, I can't believe that's a stat line, but that unfortunately is. Cleveland it's just hard to watch Cleveland win their first game. But yes, they were playing the Kansas City Chiefs. If they were playing anybody else, then I would have said yes, they would have won. But of course they had to match up against the Chiefs. They actually had the lead, and then their punter just completely messed up, and that just ruined everything. So Houston surprised me with Tyrod Taylor actually doing pretty good. Everyone actually did really good on Houston. I think Jacksonville just completely overlooked them, and Urban Meyer was outcoached. I can't believe I'm saying that. Well, we got a lot more games, but I don't want to talk too much. But with that being said, Cleveland should win this game. I think Cleveland is hands down a better team than the Jacksonville Jaguars. Cleveland should beat Houston, especially if Cleveland is at home. Next up, the Los Angeles Rams taking on the Indianapolis Colts. I think the Rams are definitely a Super Bowl contender, not from what I saw last week. Indianapolis, on the other hand, I'm not going to say they did absolutely terrible, but Russell Wilson on opening game is always really good. So I'm not going to really put too much expectations on the Colts for week 1, but it just was week 1, so they can really move on with things. But fortunately, they're going to have to start 0-2 because I don't know how the Rams should easily win this game, only because their defense is hands down. Even though the Colts defense is supposed to be good, they just weren't. So, but the Rams defense is just good whenever they can be. Stafford looked really good. I think the Rams should win. Next up, Buffalo versus Miami. Miami just did not look that good. I don't know how they won, but they did. And they're going to be hosting Buffalo. Buffalo, I don't know what happened and why Buffalo they just completely got outcoached. That's just the best way to put it. They completely outdid themselves, and they basically just gave a win to the Steelers. I don't know why Buffalo just did what I get Steelers have great defense. I get that. But they should know better. I'm just saying. Buffalo is not going to start the season 0-2. They can't lose this one, so I'm taking the Buffalo Bills. Next up, New England Patriots at the New Jersey Jets. Yeah, Zach Wilson is going to die. That dude just, I feel really terrible, but the New Jersey Jets is where quarterbacks go to die. New England has a 10 times better defense than the Jets. Everyone on the Jets is getting injured. This is just going to be a terrible season for the Jets once again. I just feel bad for them. I really do. New England has a better defense. I think Mac Jones actually looked okay. He didn't look spectacular, but he looked okay. But I really think New England's defense will get them this win. Next up, San Francisco at Philly. San Francisco, they really should have won that game. They did win that game, but they let the Lions come back in the final couple minutes. Right under 2-minute warning, they had a 3-touchdown lead. Then it turned into a 1-touchdown lead. Why? Because they just completely stopped playing offense and could not finish the game. But I don't think San Francisco will ever let that happen again. Jalen Hurts, on the other hand, he looks super good. I get they were playing the Falcons, but This is a different defense. It's going to be tough to play in Philly, but I never know what you never know what's going to happen. With that being said, but I think I'm going to take the 49ers only because when they're healthy, they're really good. And when I know Mostert's out for the year, but they're whatever running back just shows up ends up being super good. Elijah Mitchell looked pretty good after that. I thought Trey Sermon was going to be the guy, but unfortunately I was wrong about that one. He probably will be not playing at all, but who knows. 49ers, I think, will win that one. Next up, Las Vegas Raiders at Pittsburgh Steelers. That's Pittsburgh's kryptonite team. For some reason, Pittsburgh can never beat the Raiders. I have no idea why. That's how it is. As I said, the Raiders upset the Ravens. I knew that was going to happen. Same thing I think will happen again. I'm actually going to take the Raiders beating the Pittsburgh Steelers. I just think Pittsburgh's too overrated, and I think Raiders are underlooked. Waller's a dang good tight end, and they got a good running game, and that's just something they can do. The Raiders, I think, are really good. Carr is just very underrated of a quarterback. You just got to give him credit for it. So I'm taking the Raiders. Next up, New Orleans Saints versus the Carolina Panthers. Carolina did not do that well offensively, but they played the Jets, so of course they won. But they're now playing a team that's hands down better than Jets. So New Orleans, they completely demolished the Packers. Jameis Winston looked so comfortable in this game, and I think, this is a lesser opponent. The New Orleans Saints, I think, are definitely a team that will probably now make the playoffs now that I looked at it and saw them. Things could change, but Carolina isn't supposed to be that good, so I'm assuming New Orleans should win this game. Next up, Denver at Jacksonville. Jacksonville just looked bad. I felt bad for Trevor Lawrence because this was his first regular season loss. He's never lost in the regular season in high school, in college ever, but when they tried to have a college head coach and a college player and all these things go wrong, and it was just completely awful for Jacksonville. Denver, on the other hand, they found their guy. Teddy Bridgewater is their guy as of right now. I mean, do I think he'll be their guy forever? Probably not. But Bridgewater is hands down better than Drew Lock. So absolutely, I think, if Teddy Bridgewater plays confidently, he'll win. Next up, we're going into the 3 o'clock games. Minnesota versus Arizona. Minnesota just completely don't know how they got in that position in overtime in the first place. They just randomly got some practice squad kicker, and he makes a 50-yard field goal to take it to overtime, and then they choked, and I don't know, maybe he was down. I don't know, but Minnesota lost, unfortunately, to the Bengals. Who would have ever thought? Arizona, on the other hand, destroyed the Tennessee Titans. How does that happen? I have no idea, but Kyler Murray looked pretty dang good. Obviously, being at home, I think if he continues that success, I'm taking the Arizona Cardinals. I think Arizona's going to really go off to a good start. Next up, Atlanta, Tampa Bay. Atlanta just looked awful against the Eagles. It's going to be no different on the road against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, come on. Tampa Bay's just going to destroy Atlanta. We don't even need to go over this game. Next up, Dallas Cowboys at Los Angeles Chargers. Justin Herbert got them their win. Good win. Where now they're going to play Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott, what shoulder problem again? He didn't have the shoulder problem. He looked fine. I don't even know what people are talking about. But with that being said, it's going to be an interesting one because I don't really know who to pick here. If Justin Herbert's really going to play well or if not. But I don't really know. As of right now, I'm going to pick Dallas because I think Dallas has the better offense, but I mean their defense sucks. So I'm assuming this is going to be like a high-scoring game, but if Dak Prescott plays the way he did last week against a lesser opponent of a team, because both these defenses are trash, I feel like Dallas should get the win here. Next up, Tennessee at Seattle. That's going to probably be the Fox game of the week. Tennessee just absolutely looked embarrassed they just looked embarrassing. I don't know what the heck happened to Tennessee, but Tennessee has a hard schedule to start off because they got to play Seattle, and that's going to be tough, really tough. Russell Wilson, we know how good he is in the opening games. At home, it's going to be a really tough game. I really hope this is a high-scoring game because that that should be a high-scoring game. Actually, this one's primetime on CBS, whatever. But regardless, I gotta take Seattle because Russell Wilson always starts out great at home. So cannot say that. All right. Sunday Night Football is Kansas City at Baltimore. Kansas City had a wild game against the Browns. Kansas City ended up winning it. Baltimore, of course, had that wild game against the Raiders. They lost. So Baltimore is pretty much a team that's owned by Kansas City. I don't really think Patrick Mahomes just seems to really do damage against Baltimore. I'm not really that scared of Baltimore. Kansas City, I think, knows what they're doing and what they're dealing with. And even if they're on the road, I don't think it will matter. I'm going to take the Chiefs just because I don't think Lamar Jackson can. I don't know. They're still missing something. Baltimore's missing a lot of defense. Baltimore's defense has just been terrible so far. They don't have anybody. I kind of feel bad. But I'm going to take Kansas City. I've said it again. And then finally, Monday Night Football, Detroit Lions at the Green Bay Packers. I do not believe the Packers are ever going to have an embarrassment like they did last week, especially against the Lions at home on Monday Night Football. If they lose that game, if the Packers lose, then I'm going to panic because this just shouldn't happen. If you can't get blown up by the Lions at home. That just can't happen. So with that being said, I got to take the Packers. I mean, you just got to do it, you know. You just can't not lose. And there's so much. Rodgers knows he's got to come through and get us a win. So that's that. So if you like what you saw, hit the like button, hit the notification bell, and subscribe to me. Share my stuff and comment with your thoughts. And as always, stay safe, be smart. And as always, go Pack Go. We'll see you next time.